All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Ken McBee and Brett Stewart coming to you live from sunny Phoenix. Hopefully, it's sunny where you're sitting. Today's an exciting day, Brett.
Very, very exciting.
Tell us why.
Well, we've been waiting.
Finally here.
Yes, we've been waiting for this event for at least 4 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But before we get to that, we definitely wanted to touch first on
yes, definitely.
our million milers coming up.
Got a whole new group of million milers coming through that in May we'll celebrate here in Phoenix for our 3 and 4 million milers. We're adding another 21 of them. 7 of them are owners, 14 are company, so they're either moving into 3 million. There's 2 of them moving into 4 million.
Wow.
So I believe that makes 5 total that we have 4 million milers out there. That's just what an amazing task.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, it's outstanding. So looking forward to that. That's in May.
That's in May.
Yeah, and more to come there. And just really appreciate all of our drivers out there, turning the miles and to get to that accomplishment of 1 million or more, and then having some that are 4 million is just very impressive. And my gratitude to you all that have really sacrificed and changed your lifestyle to meet the demands out there and to get us the product that we need. So
agreed. And when you look at the totality of it, there's 1,600 1 through 4 million mile drivers. Wow. So just such an amazing feat overall. And I love when they come to the driver center or even through the corporate offices here, and they can see all the plaques, and we have them there. A bunch of new legends. That's people that are over 25 years with Swift. So just when you look at the longevity and tenure here at our company, it's just, I'm proud to say that we have such a great group of drivers. They're training the new drivers too. Yes, we do a lot of training, but yet there's so much longevity here and tenure with our driving associates.
Absolutely. Yeah. So without further ado, we want to make an announcement, and please continue to send us your questions as well. Ken and I will spend some time after this discussion to answer some of those questions for you. But yeah, the big day is here. The big day is here. So April 3rd, we will launch the load board that many of you have been waiting for. We currently have 100 owner operators that have been testing that over the past couple of weeks, just making sure it's exactly how it needs to be and all the automation is working. It was a lot of the functionality that we've been working on. Naturally, it's much easier to make something look nice, but does it work well? So that is what we've been working towards up until this point. So for those of you that might be on the outside looking in and have always said that if Swift's independent contractors were able to have a load board, I would join, it's your time. So we're going to have a number at the bottom of the screen to contact a recruiter. Please reach out to them and they can answer more questions for you.
I'm going to jump into just a couple of questions right away. And then I'll have you walk us through what it looks like. So if you're in refrigerated,
yeah,
can you be part of the load board?
Not yet. We wanted to start first with our over-the-road dry van owner operators and then scale to the other lines of businesses. But we had to start first, and that's the majority of our owners that operate in that segment for Swift. So we started there.
But we still have a programming staff that's working diligently to get them into the load board too.
Yes.
It's just, this was the first step.
Yeah.
Phase 1.
Phase 1.
All right. How do you sign up for the load board? Is one of the questions from.
Yeah, so great question. So if you're currently an independent contractor at Swift, and you're an over-the-road owner-operator, so you'll know that because your rate package will be OTRLL or OTRLE. So from outside looking in, you're like, whatever that means. But if you're contracted with Swift, you'll know what your rate matrix is. You're going to have the eligibility then to sign into the load board, and that's going to happen on Wednesday, April 3rd. So we're going to send the link out to the load board on the 3rd. You'll be able to sign in with the same username and password that you utilize at Swift today to access your owner operator portal, for example. And yeah, that was a good question. And if you're not currently with Swift, then call that number.
All right. Well, here's some more in-depth questions. If we book our own load, will we still get deadhead miles, or are we on our own?
Gosh, that is a big question. I'd kind of like to understand a little bit more. So if you're an owner operator at Swift, and let's say you're you're portable currently, so you're leasing a Swift, but you're running your business outside of Swift Transportation, then that really wouldn't apply. You're running it that way. If you're trip leasing, meaning that you're picking freight from other carriers and running them through that, then you just continue to do the things that you're doing so that it wouldn't, it's really, those, they're all kind of separate, right? This load board is going to display freight that is available in the Swift network. The freight that you choose to select for your business and run outside of Swift, just continue to do that the way you're doing that today.
Okay. So it really, the way this load board, there's many different load boards out there. They work in various ways, but ultimately it's about, hey, I want to go from A to B, right? And the rate's already negotiated because it's in their contract, right?
Correct.
So it's not like we're not going to show total revenue and then you got to figure out whether you want to take it for less or anything like that.
Correct.
It's just a matter of, do you want this load A to B? Here's the miles. And that's kind of how it works. Is that?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Yeah, you'll be able to just look at the mileage, review the loads available, make sure that it works for you. And then it would be compensated based off your rate of pay that's in your agreement.
Okay. And then can you stack loads out there, or how fast can I put the loads on me? If I'm picking up today and I get dispatched and get to the pickup, can I get my next load?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're going to have load visibility out to 18 hours currently. So there'll be some opportunity for sure. And that's what it's there for. You're coming into an area, you know, you're going to make a delivery in the morning. You want to see what's available, grab a load, and that would be a stack. Now, if you're thinking like, obviously, I'm going to go from Phoenix to Georgia, I want to look from a Georgia to Illinois and then Illinois to Laredo or something. It's all those loads are going to be there, but you're not going to have the ability to stack all of those loads because of the time constraints that are in the board currently.
So right now we have it set at a certain threshold, but the flexibility is there maybe possibly down the road, depending on freight markets and situations, that we could even make that threshold bigger.
Yeah.
Or you could possibly get a couple, 3 days out when the market, is maybe different.
Yeah. And even in today's, like this weekend is Easter weekend, and a lot of owners are coming home for that, but they got home a little early. They still want to run. You could, for Phoenix, for example, we had some Phoenix to Tucson back to Phoenix, and you stack yourself on those to get you through the week. That would work, right? So there's going to be a lot of flexibility around it.
Okay. Let's see. Is it a quick pay, or will it take a couple days to receive the load pay?
Yeah. Oh, good question. It's going to, the load that you run will be dispatched the same way you're dispatched today through our AS400 system, and that is connected directly to your settlement. So when you pick it up and you deliver it and you provide that signed bill of lading, scan that information in, you will be compensated for the load at that time. There's no waiting like regular load boards. I think that's usually what that question comes from, is you'll select a load off the load board and then you're kind of hostage to whether it's a 30 or 60-day payment term when you're compensated for the load.
Awesome. Here's another good question. If we book a load from the load board system and we arrive at the pickup on time, only to find out the load was canceled, will owners be compensated for that pay?
Yeah, so in current day setting, absolutely yes, that's going to be the way that it'll work, because the freight is being displayed in its Swift's freight. Here in the coming months, there's going to be other freight that will be brought onto the board. And just like the question the owner had earlier, if I bring my own load in, then will I be compensated, or whatever that question was? Well, if it's an outside load, we don't necessarily have that arrangement. All of the terms have been pre-made, and maybe that part of it wasn't negotiated. So, but yeah, if you get a truck order not used, is what we would charge the customer for. So we would get compensated for that, and we would then compensate the owner for that cancellation.
Or they would get the miles, say, for instance, they deadheaded 100 miles and then the load canceled, then they would get paid for the miles possibly. Or no?
Yeah. So that is, it's a great question. That's something we're gonna have to look into. I think,
Okay.
there's gonna be times where some loads will cancel, and we're gonna have to figure out how that would work.
Okay. Are we getting paid empty miles?
No. So the loads taken off the load board will not be compensated for deadhead. Naturally, you have the option, you number one, have the option to use the load board. And number two, you have the option to utilize the planning network at Swift Transportation. But if you elect to use the load board it will be compensated on your dispatch loaded miles home.
Perfect. Jason asks, is this for Swift freight or freight in general? That one, I'm thinking what he's asking is it for just Swift drivers or is it for everybody? I think it's
just Swift, right? Yeah, if you were interested in contracting your truck into Swift, you would use like Swift Logistics, for example, and they have a freight board that you can look at that they bring loads into. This board is specific for Swift's independent contractors that are contracted to Swift.
Will we load this app or this board onto the tablet at some point? It's one of the questions that came through too, or does it have to be on their phone?
No, that's a great question. Yeah, we can have it's a web-based platform today, so it's not an app, anything specific to that. They would just go to the website and then save that in their favorites and access it that way. And I don't see why we couldn't get them access on the tablet.
Okay. Let's see here. There's another asking about flatbed. Same thing with refrigerator, right? We're going to go through phase one, then get to the next phases.
Yeah, and flatbed would be further down the road. Very specialized group there, you know, trailer specific, length of load. It's a little bit bigger of a challenge, but it's one that we still want to have discussion around. But that wouldn't be something that we would have this year.
Okay. I think we answered most of the questions so far. They came in fairly fast, but all good stuff. Get with your driver leaders or terminal leaders if not, or they could even call the owner operator department here in Phoenix if they have questions.
Yeah. So if you're currently an owner with Swift, you're going to get on your owner operator portal. You'll have access to it. We're going to have a post there for you with the link. And again, just reminding you what your username and password will be on April 3rd, then 7 a.m. Phoenix time, you're going to have access to log in and start to use the load board. You'll get an error message if you're currently not eligible. And what that will mean is that you're not in the over the road division with the right rate matrix, but that could be changed and then you'll have access to the board. So, and quickly too, I wanted to make mention of the owner operator portal. So that has been something we've been working in tandem with the load board on and put a lot of hours into that portal. And the purpose of it is that one-stop shop for you as the owner at Swift. If you have a question, you need a specific form, you wanted to see your contract that you signed, you wanted to find out if a terminal had fuel currently or not, maybe the pumps are down, whatever it is, the owner operator portal is there for you. So use that more. I mean, we see all of our owners using it, but they go straight to their settlement naturally, and that's really where they stop. Just browse around. It's got a plethora of things. Again, we want it to be there for you as a one-stop shop when you need it. So
awesome. We got a few more questions flowing in. Can we use both load board and planners for loads?
Yes, you can. And that's really one of the biggest reasons we built it, was because there's going to be times where you need to use the load board, but if you want to use our planning network at Swift, that's going to be there for you, right? You know, an example is you told the team, hey, I'm going to come out on Monday morning at 7 a.m., but then you woke up on Saturday and you got a fresh 30, your clock's reset and you want to run. Instead of calling in, you can take a look at your phone and pick a load that you can run that weekend. Yeah, you could do either or.
Great. And I think that pretty much answers Barb W2. What happens if we book a load and break? Oh, no, that's not it. Can we switch from the load board to normal dispatch anytime? Manual.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What happens if I book a load and break down and can't deliver the load?
Yeah.
I think there's probably two different scenarios, right? I booked a load, picked it up, and then broke down,
Sure.
or booked a load and didn't pick it up, right? There's two different examples there.
Yeah, and in today's environment, we would just run it just the same. Whatever would happen today would be the way that we would work through that situation. So if you're dispatched under the load, you would notify your owner-operator consultant, your terminal. They would notify planning, and we would look to recover that load or reschedule it if we needed to. If it was something you've committed to and you break down and it's just as simple as just voiding it and someone else going to get it, that's easy enough to do. Yeah. The challenge is when you pick it up, but we get it. I mean, trucks will break down. things happen, and that's
why for this first phase, especially, it's pretty simple. You have your rate per mile, right?
Yeah.
So if you picked it up, drove 100 miles, you're going to get your 100 miles. We T-call it, and then we move on, and somebody else picked it up because you wrote down.
Yes.
Business is normal.
Yep. Just the way that you're running.
Seems pretty
today.
simple.
Yeah.
Right?
We try to keep it simple.
Can we T-call loads?
Yeah. So you can T-call.
Planning has to approve it, I would
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely. So that is also in your contract. So you have the ability to T-call freight with the approval of planning. Because keep in mind, you're committing to a load and you're getting dispatched on a load from point A to point B. So, but we get it. Things come up in between, and as long as the planning team can recover that load, we would allow the T-call.
Another good question, but would the pay rate for the lease ops change or stay the same? So sounds like if you're using the app or getting planned by a planner, your rate's your rate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Same rate.
Okay. So therefore it wouldn't change.
Yeah.
Awesome. Again, questions are empty now. So
Yeah, just really appreciate the time. We wanted to make sure we got on and let you know that it's coming. And really, we avoided April 1st just because everyone would be like, oh God, April Fools, here we go. And it's not a joke. This is happening. So April 3rd it is, and we're excited to see where we go from here. Really just appreciate everyone's feedback as well. There was a lot of owners involved over the years that have helped us get to this point. Looking at it, testing it, giving us feedback on how it can be better. We've looked at other load boards as well, and we're happy with what we have, and we're excited for the development to come as well. Just keep in mind, this is just load board 1.0, so it's going to continue to grow, and we hope that you grow with us.
excellent. Well, we have no more questions for the day. So Brett, appreciate you sharing this with us. Next week, we're going to have a live. We've committed to do more of these. The next live is with our planners. So we're going to have some of our director of ops that are managing these big areas come on here, and that'll be a great set of questions, I'm sure, for you to ask them.
Yeah.
Ask them what they expect of you, what you expect of them. Things like that, and we can walk through that next week. So I'm excited to bring them on. Hey, there is one last thing before we go, and that's we have Mentor Madness going on. So that's just another avenue that if you're more than 9 months, got a good safety score, have the ability or want to train somebody new, you have to have that passion for training. Then we would ask that you talk to your driver leader, terminal leadership, and get on board with training our new drivers. So you were there once, so we want you to show them how to do it.
Absolutely.
Right? All right. Well, if there's nothing else. Appreciate it, Brett.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody have a safe week.